Greetings. This is a snapshot view of the Sylvania housing market as we see it based on the first quarter of 2024. Now, I found a few surprises as I mined this data, and I'll share those shortly. But to explain what we're looking at, let me say that these are single-family existing homes in the Sylvania School District. If you have a condo or new construction, happy to talk about that, but for simplicity I want to deal with these single-family existing homes. So starting out, I want to give you context on what we're seeing over a period of time in the number of sales. This is probably precedent-setting information as we look at 2024. But on this chart I'm sharing 10 years of data on the total year, how many homes sold. The average for that 10-year period looks like it was very close to 700 homes. It started to exceed the average in 2018, and for 4 years we beat the average. And interestingly, the first COVID year, 2020, was the peak in sales. 2021 wasn't bad. 2022 was when the mortgage rates went up dramatically. So we saw homes trailing off, the number of homes sold trailing off. And last year, mortgage rates were more stable at the 7% range, 6 to 7, 7.5, so forth. But the number of sales continued to go down. So my thinking going into this year is that we've bottomed out. More people have been waiting to move, and they're going to have to make a move. We'll get some more inventory, and if we get more inventory, we'll have a slightly better year. I don't anticipate 2024 to be big, but I do think it could be slightly better than last year. And that was my thinking until I looked at the data. If we look at the first quarter of this year versus the same period in 2023, we're seeing a decline of about 20% in the number of homes we're selling. And this chart indicates that we're going to have to catch up if we're going to have a year similar to last year or anything close to an average year. So this is early in the year. We'll see. This is the time of year when spring sales are fastest and prices are accelerating typically. So we'll see what happens as we have 9 months to go. Now let's move on to pricing. Pricing and sales are based on supply and demand. So the demand is still there. There's still demand in spite of the interest rates. And the supply is still very low. So when we look at home prices, a common metric reported is simply the median sale price. And many reports start with that. Now, if you've looked at my old videos, I do not typically report the median home sale price. Now, this is common. A lot of reports start with that kind of data, but I find it a little problematic. So this chart explains why. This chart says the median price measures the middle price that homes have sold, meaning that half the homes sold for more and half the homes sold for less. And this is the point. It's not very useful for measuring home price appreciation because it's affected by the composition, or you might consider it the mix, of homes that have sold. For example, if more lower priced homes have sold recently, the median sale price would decline because the middle home is now a lower priced home, even if the value of each individual home is rising. And I think most of us want to know what that individual home is. So that's why I generally report home prices based on a price per square foot. But let me share the two charts. The first one based on the median price. And when we look at that, there was a very modest increase in 2024. Less than 1% of the homes in Sylvania, based on median home, went up just basically 0.5%. Now let's flip the chart over to the median price per square footage. This is where I take the price that's the home sold and divide it by the amount of living square footage. to try to measure or normalize what's going on between the big houses and the small houses. Now, it's not a perfect measurement because it doesn't take into account many, many factors that are important. Based on this chart says prices went up dramatically in a year, basically 11% increase. And that, I think, might be a little strong, but that's what the data says. I think if we could dig in a little further and do house by house comparisons, the actual numbers might be maybe 5 or 6%, which on a national long-term average is about what home prices do. So in a sense, I think we're kind of in a normal appreciation rate based on the current market. And we're happy to talk about that. I would love to chat with you if you've got some interest on your home. None of this data takes into account how much of your home has been updated. Do you have a basement? Is the basement finished? Do you have a big yard? Do you have a pool or a pond? Or all of those many, many factors that would go beyond the price per square footage. So I'm happy to do that. Let's talk soon. But in the meantime, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and go slay some dragons.